am a multitasking queen today. We are finally filming the long-awaited, multi-times promised declutter video. So while I have a mask on my face, this is the Pharmacy Honey Potion Plus, going for full hydration here to combat the dryness of forced air heating. I have my toilet bowl filled with cleaner, and not a single thing is safe from the chopping block today. Now, you know, I have been postponing filming this for the stupid and ridiculous reason of my nails not being perfect, because it's a face down video where you're predominantly going to see my fingers for the extent of the video, and you know, it's not aesthetic. My nails aren't done. I did have press-ons for my birthday 2 weeks ago or a week ago or whatever, I don't know what day it is. But you know what? First of all, can't be bothered to keep those things on. They were ruining my life. And second of all, if you have a problem with the way that my natural nails and natural hands look, that's a you problem. I cannot put this off any longer. There is literally stuff here, stuff in my life that just needs to be gone. So without further gilding the lily, and with no more ado, the spring cleaning declutter that must, absolutely must happen. It is here. It is here. It is here. All right, y'all, let's get into it. So as I said, nothing is safe from the chopping block today, not a single thing. And we're going to start with predominantly the stuff that was already on my vanity table here. So this is box 1, box 2, and my makeup bag. But honestly, I think everything in my makeup bag is actually safe, so we're just going to go ahead and move that off to the side. And before we get into these two containers, we're going to start with these two items here, because this is actually where my declutter started. And then I realized, oh, this is a video that people usually enjoy watching. I should bring my viewers along for the ride. And so this is already stuff I've determinedly decluttered. We'll start with this little baggie here, which is kind of the beginning of how my decluttered items are going to be divided. So we're gonna have like trash and gifts. These items in this bag are going to be gifted or donated because they're completely unopened and need to be loved and used. So the first thing, we're just gonna get right into it. The first thing is a couple unused bars from this Etique face sampler, which I've had for quite a while, and I've used most of these products. I really love Etique. It's all kind of like solid, no waste beauty products, but I really prefer, just given my current lifestyle, using solid shampoo and conditioner bars versus my entire routine. It just gets a little messy and you need containers for everything. And at the moment, it just doesn't suit my needs. So there's 3 little bars still left in this package. We have the Bliss bar, which is a solid face cleanser, then the Saving Face Serum, and the Perfector, which is a solid face cream for normal to dry skin. This will very likely go to like my mom or one of my friends, just because it's still all perfectly good to use. I just have no personal use for it. Then there is this Quo Beauty Vanilla Brulee body lotion. Still got the seal on it. It is probably lovely, but I just realized that I have body creams in my collection that I know I love, and why even bother with this? I think I used the like body scrub in this scent and it wasn't really my thing, even though it like Vanilla Brulee totally sounds like it should be, but it just wasn't. So I'm just gonna pass this along rather than keeping it and then opening it and then not liking it. Then we have this Pacifica SPF 50 Mineral SPF Bronzing Body Butter. It's water resistant. It's probably gorgeous. Again, still has the seal on it, so it's perfectly good to be passed along to someone who actually might get some use out of it. But I really have trouble with like tinted body products because it's inevitably going to get on all of my clothes. It's going to stain, and I don't want to deal with the aftermath of that. But there's tons of people who use like physical bronzers and all of that stuff who aren't going to have the same issue. So again, it's just something that can completely be passed along. Then we have 2 Sol de Janeiro. We've got the Strengthening and Smoothing Shampoo and the Balm Dia Bright Clarifying HA/BHA Body Wash. Nothing wrong with the formulas. The scents are just a little bit too intense, and for all of the hair and scalp issues I've been having, I don't want to put something this perfumed on my hair or my scalp. No thank you. I'm just afraid that like all of my hair will fall out if I use this, and I don't particularly like the scent of this one. So again, 2 items that are just going to be passed along to someone who actually really loves and appreciates these products. Then lastly, in the pre-existing gifting collection is just this Burt's Bees lip balm in the fragrance / flavor Cranberry Spritz. It still has the seal on it. I got this in a like box set, and I just don't really like berry flavored things. There was 2 other flavors in the set that I really liked. So this again is just going to be passed along, and this whole thing is going to be just stuff that is either completely new or lightly pre-loved and going to be gifted. And I am seeing my friend Veronica tomorrow, so I'm also going to give her the opportunity to just dig through this section of things and let me know what she wants to take, and then the rest can just be passed along. I can probably take this to like the Salvation Army or something like that. Okay, then we have the pre-decluttered stuff. That is all stuff that is, some of it's pre-loved and like not old. The rest of it is like old, has been used, and unfortunately will need to be trashed. So those are the 2 categories. We've got gifted and trashed. But we'll start with the 2 things that are on the very top that actually can be passed along, I think. The first is the NYX Plump Right Back Plumping Serum and Primer. I have used this a few times on my channel. It's perfectly fine. It does have a fragrance, but I just don't really use primers. So what is the point in me keeping this? Because it's just not something that actually showcases heavily in my daily routine or even on my channel. And there's still, as you can see, quite a significant amount of product left. So it's just a shame for it to be sitting there and literally like rotting when I could pass it along to someone who might actually get some use out of this. The second that's right at the top here that is actually completely unopened and can be passed along as a gift is the Uma Beauty Double Take. It's the Sculpt and Strobe Stick, and this is the shade Honey Honey. Nothing wrong with this. It's beautiful. I bought it for a reason. I just don't have any need for it immediately in my collection, and unlike, you know, creators like Khaki, I don't want to particularly have an encyclopedic collection of products. This just sitting in my collection being unused and unloved is kind of stressing me out. And Uma Beauty, as many of us know, if you are kind of in the beauty space, they have repackaged this product and have kind of split it. So I don't want to open it, but this version is the one where you've got the highlighter and the bronzer on either side. Now, if you have been here for a while and you follow me and you know me, I don't really use highlighter. So even if I did open this and start to use it, I would only ever really be getting use out of one side of the product. So it's just so wasteful for me to keep this. So this is also, again, brand new, still in the package. I've never even opened it to swatch it. So it's going to go into the gifting set. Now the rest of this is all, unfortunately, as I said, garbaggio. We're gonna start with the one that's just staring at me right now. I have used this on my channel before, I'm pretty sure. It is the Caudalis. It's just a banana lip balm, and it's pretty unused. No longer has a scent, which means it actually has gone off, but it always just, it tasted so terrible. It smelled like bananas. I wanted it to taste the way that it smelled. It never did. And there are very few potted lip balms that I actually love and will reach for, even though they usually do come in some kind of like glass packaging, which can be repurposed. This one, because of the flavor of it, just kind of lost me from the jump, unfortunately. So it just sat there. And something like this, where you are putting your fingers in it, you're getting all of your germs and gooeys in there. Like, it's just should not be passed along, and unfortunately needs to be trashed. Then there is this Revolution Beauty Soap Styler Stick. I was super intrigued by this product because it is just a clear gel and then your spoolie. So the intention is that this is supposed to like simplify the soap brow process because you've got that formula, that like jelly kind of pomade in the like eyebrow pencil delivery system. Honestly though, it did freaking nothing. And it's been open for so long now. Why am I holding on to it? I just immediately didn't like it, and it had no real hold. I like the concept of this, but ultimately, is it worth the like extra packaging and extra waste for the convenience of this when it doesn't actually work? You guys know that I'm using my e.l.f. brow wax or brow lift or whatever. That's fine. And there are so many other like clear brow gels / pomades that just have the impact that you are looking for, or I personally am looking for when I'm doing my eyebrows. So this trashed. Then we have this ColourPop You're My Sunshine Super Shock Shadow in this really fun, incredible shade. But I just, other than literally dipping my finger in there to swatch it, I never used this. And now it like, the color doesn't really even come off. I'm obviously very gently touching my finger in there because it's gonna stain, but it just sort of like dried out and no longer has the impact that everyone loves from this actual formula. So it's just another one of those things that unfortunately went unused, unloved, and is now going into the trash. Next, we have this disgustingly messy LYS Beauty Lash Confidence Mascara. Loved the packaging of it. I really just appreciate the like triangle design, but in your hand, especially in my hands, which are very small, it's actually super chunky. And like, even though this has been open for so long, you can just kind of, I think, see as I pull the brush out of there, like it's got such a chunky, wet formula, and it never dried out. And I just found that it was way, way, way too wet for my lashes, which are very fine and very straight. As we all know, again, if you've been following me for a while, I like a waterproof mascara because it's going to hold my very stubborn, very fine, very straight lashes. And this just immediately made them go, so unfortunately it just got pushed off to the side. I did genuinely wait for this to dry out, like once it had been actually opened, because sometimes with a very wet, heavy formula, that helps if you kind of just set it aside after it's been opened and let the formula just kind of get a little, you know, gummy and crusty. But that just never happened with this, so I was really disappointed. And obviously it's a mascara. I'm not going to give it to someone else because ew, hygiene. Trashed. Then there is this Pacifica Big Dream Brushed Up Brows. Super cute packaging, as with most Pacifica products. I really do appreciate their aesthetic. It's very cute and dreamy and like whimsical. This is a glass bottle, which I also really appreciated. And I'm always kind of looking for the perfect brow, although honestly, is anything really going to, I mean, there's a few things that like competed heavily with the Glossier Boy Brow, but very few and far between. And so this is a very, very, very long wand, which was probably, I think, one of the first problems, because the long wand with an eyebrow product, I feel like eliminates the control that you have. It's got this like angled spoolie, which is supposed to give you that kind of more control as you're dealing with your brow. And then it's got this very thick, fibrous formula, probably very similar to the kind of mascaras that everyone's really liking right now. What are they called? I don't know, I'm blanking. I'll put it across the screen here when I'm editing because I cannot for the life of me recall what it's supposed to be called. It's also quite a light shade, which is probably my first mistake, although sometimes I do tend to go lighter with a colored brow product just because I don't want it to look like I've got marker brows and my brow hairs are already reasonably dark. But it's just the wrong shade. Didn't like the formula. It just felt like thick and clunky and kind of inelegant, unfortunately. So much like the rest of these, it just sat there, rotted and unloved. And now it is to be trashed. We've got a brand new, still in the packaging, hasn't even been taken out. So this is actually going to get passed along to the gifted section. It is the Nude Sticks Magnetic Matte Eye Color in the shade Lilac Sky. I got this years and years and years and years ago, but then, you know, all that stuff kind of went down about Nude Sticks and I just didn't feel right in my soul using their products. There's nothing wrong with the actual formula of this. I just didn't ever open it because I didn't want to be using Nude Sticks products on my channel anymore. So unfortunately, it just kind of sat there languishing and unloved. So because it's been unopened, and I'm sure the formula is still perfectly fine because the seal hasn't been broken, she's gonna go into the gifted section. Speaking of Glossier, I have a Glossier Birthday Balm.com here, which has been open for years and years and years. And one day I just like reached into the pocket of, I don't know, one of my pieces of clothing. And I think it was like a sweater or something that I probably this winter, I think I reached into the pocket of one of my sweaters and pulled this out and was like, oh dear God, there it is. Pretty sure this went through the wash and then just was sitting there, and it has been opened. As you can see, there's like the little squish mark from where I was pushing out the product. And I don't know, I don't want to fuck around with expired products. My body's already so sensitized to everything. So nothing wrong with the product itself, just the fact that my silly little brain lost it and then abused it, and then, you know, neglect turned into rot, and alas, this must be trashed. No one's fault but my own. Okay, here we have another NYX product. This is the Bear With Me Cannabis Sativa Seed Oil Brow Setter. This did absolutely diddly squat. It's pretty much brand new. It is the shape of the spoolie that I like and appreciate. It's tiny. It doesn't have that stupid long wand that I was, you know, complaining about with the Pacifica. But similarly to so many brow products that just don't meet my standards, it did nothing. So I used it maybe once or twice and then it just sat there unloved. Trashed. Similarly to all of the other things sitting, languishing, and unloved. This is the Marcel Hypoallergenic Lip Liner Waterproof Lip Definition in the shade Nude. But y'all know I don't use lip liners. So this is like still pretty full. There's nothing wrong with the formula. In fact, I really enjoy Marcel products. It's quite silky and smooth. The tone is still quite lovely and pretty similar to the shade of my natural lips, but I don't use lip liners. If I am going to use a lip liner, I want it to be something a little bolder or a little darker so that I'm getting a contour effect. And actually, against my natural lip shades, I always felt that this pulled a little bit too cool and like not in the way that I wanted it to appear. Like it was just a little like blue. So it just kind of has been sitting here for years and years and years, and it's gonna get trashed. Sorry. We've got two sunscreen lip products here. Or rather, lip products with sunscreen in them. I believe I had packed one or both of these with me last year for my Whistler trip, knowing that I was going to the mountains and going to have some serious spring sun exposure at a high altitude. This one is the Solara Sun Care Hydrate and Plump Pout Protector. It's just a broad spectrum SPF 15. This one is a physical SPF, fine. I think I did bring it with me, but I just didn't fully use it, and now it is expired. It expired in July of 2023, and I might use expired SPFs on my body a little beyond their expiration date, but certainly not on my lips where something is actually going to go into my body eventually. This one is the Ava Issa Sun Lip Whip in the shade Watermelon Lily. This is also a physical sunscreen with 20% zinc oxide, but this similarly expired in January 2023. So I actually had this and was putting this on my mouth way beyond the expiration date. So unfortunately, both are still quite full, but expired. Trashed. Then there is this teeny tiny Alima Pure Radiant Finishing Powder in the shade Havana. Super cute. I actually really love these powders, but I've just had this honestly for like, oh God, like maybe almost a decade now. And this is just kind of like a sampler of a bigger size. And I was predominantly using this as like a bronzer, it's actually a beautiful shade for me as a bronzer. And it's a loose powder, so it's just got one of these little like very tidy caps. and it closes very nicely. And then you just kind of, I was always just, as you can see, oh, goodbye. I would just do this into the cap and then push my brush in there. It was fine. But I have so many other powder bronzers that I've kind of migrated towards over the years. So again, nothing wrong with the formula, but I can't be bothered to be keeping these things. It's stressing me out. Trashed. This is the About Face Light Lock Lip Gloss in the shade Please Obey. Now this is the first iteration of their packaging for this product. Absolutely nothing wrong with the formula. It's super, super pretty. It's got that really bright, shiny, I don't even know if that's gonna pick up in this light, but bright, shiny, purple tinted lip gloss appearance. Lovely, but honestly, I really don't like this packaging. And because this is very, very cool, I didn't get a lot of use out of it. But run, don't walk if you're Canadian. About Face is now in Shoppers Drug Mart, and I'm pretty sure they have like almost the full line of the new iteration of the lip glosses. I did pick one up in the shade that I actually like, and I've been using it every single day for the last few weeks. Love it. But again, this is like now several years old, is opened, has been put on my lips. We're not keeping her around anymore because gross. Trashed. Okay, this is the, oh God, I don't even know. I'm pretty sure this is a Juvia's Place concealer. Does it even say? Nope. All of the, like, just honestly, no offense to Juvia's Place, because I think a lot of their products are really beautiful and I want to keep patronizing them. But this packaging specifically is just like kind of junky and cheap. Like, it really did not take long for the labeling to rub off, and I didn't use this very much. Like, I really did not get a lot of use out of this. And it's just a concealer in a huge packaging. Like, this is a huge amount of product for concealer and like a big chubby chunky doe foot. Not a terrible shade match for me, but I didn't love the formula, and I just have other concealers that I was gravitating towards more. It does pull a little bit like orangey. Again, I don't really know if it's picking it up properly in this lighting, but just not my favorite formula. Was a little dry for my taste. So it just kind of, like everything else here and so many other things that we're gonna go through today in this epically long video, because we're already like 25 minutes in. Okay, and then sadly, two products that just kind of got pushed off to the side, not because they're a bad formula, not because I didn't love them, but just because at the time I had too many things to choose from, and I'm not a huge beauty creator, and on the everyday I'm just really not using this level of products. It's the Rose Ink concealers. I have two shades here. We've got LX 080 and LX 090, obviously two very distinct shades. We've got super cool, super warm. Neither of these shades was a perfect match for me, obviously not my skin tone. Palm is giving very different than, you know, the back of my hand. Sometimes I would mix these, sometimes I would just lean into the warmer tone, and I just kind of fell out of love and was just overwhelmed. And you know what? Honestly, don't love the packaging, don't love the hand feel to it. I have very tiny hands. Things really need to like gel with the way they feel in my little teeny tiny hands. That's why I use tiny spoons and tiny forks. Anyways, they're so old now. I've had them for years and years and years, like way before I moved to my current location. So unfortunately, no offense, but no love lost either. Trashed. So we're just gonna dump everything back in here, because eventually this is all just gonna go straight into the Garagio. Moving forward, we're just gonna be pushing everything off to the side. To my right, we've got Trashed. To my left, Gifted. Okay? So just keep that in mind if you can, but don't feel that you need to. Now, this is sort of somewhat organized. Apologies that you can fully see the ring light glow there. We're gonna open that up. Ooh, look, nice, nice, nice. Okay, somewhat organized, because this is one of the items that's been sitting on my vanity for so much time. Eventually we will get to the makeup holding device that I was using to organize all of my stuff in my bedroom when I was still doing my makeup in my bedroom. But it quickly became clear to me in my new home that one of the reasons why so much stuff was going unused and unloved was because it just wasn't here present with me. Anyways, not the point. The point is, like I said, everything is on the chopping block today. If you haven't noticed, there's no rhyme or reason to this. no organization at all. We're not doing one specific makeup product. It's everything. Decluttering the entire collection. First things first, Bare Minerals bronzer in the shade Kiss of Rose. Ugh, I don't have a nail or enough of a nail on this hand, so struggling. Okay, look, beautiful, beautiful. Ooh, this is still the old packaging, so it's old, but I'm not fucking getting rid of this. It's too pretty. Look at that shade. Look at it's beautiful. The formula is so freaking silky and delicious. I love it. I'm not getting rid of this. I do reach for it, especially on my no makeup days when I just want something on my cheeks to make me look a little bit alive. Staying with me forever and ever and ever. Eventually, I might hit pan. Maybe one day. And then maybe I will consider buying the new iteration of it. But until then, she is staying. So this isn't even going gifted. I guess there's technically a third category here. He. The third category is mine. Gifted, trashed, mine, okay? But that's gonna be distracting. So mine is actually out of frame, okay? Okay, the next thing, just because it was right on the top and I used it recently, if you watched my last video, I'm gonna link it here. The Get Ready With Me for My Birthday. This is the Winky Lux Coffee Kitten Eyeshadow Palette. 9 neutral shades. Allegedly smells like coffee. That's not why I bought it. I bought it because it was just cute. And I am using predominantly these 3, although I do really like this one and this one. It's a lovely little eyeshadow palette. It's staying with me just because it's new and I have been reaching for it more often than not. Yay, yay, mine. I just opened this even though I've had it for literally probably 3 years. This is the Merit Beauty Cheek Color in the shade Terracotta. One of the things I do have to say about this, and I don't know if they're like the new versions of this, but it's just like, it feels really fucking cheap. Gotta say it. Kind of feels like I'm holding like a little Polly Pocket, although the plastic feels less thick. But I like the aesthetic of it. I like the application of it, and this terracotta shade is really just very lovely. It's actually quite similar in tone to the Kiss of Rose from Bare Minerals, but it's lovely. The formula is very, very dewy, and it's pretty. I don't know why it took me so long to open this, but going into spring and summer, this is going to be a lovely kind of like no makeup, just been kissed by the sun sort of product. So for the time being, because I literally just opened this, mine. All right. There's some things in here that I for sure know are going to get beheaded. Chopped. Okay. Right at the top, just because it's here, this is not going anywhere. This is the About Face Matte Fluid Eye Paint in the shade Weightless, a nice dark brown. And I don't reach for this a ton. I haven't been doing a ton of eye makeup, but it's just such a delicious, deep, dark, chocolatey brown. If I want kind of an eyeliner that's really gonna hold, this is great. It's just a nice product to have, and you know, a pretty reasonable formula. So, fine. Staying. Okay, what's next? This is the Say Beauty Dew Blush in the shade Spicy. There's a theme here in the tones, although this is obviously much richer, but beautiful, beautiful, beautiful blush. Love it, but definitely, you know, there's a theme here in the tones that are right at the top of my blush collection at the moment. I similarly have had this for quite a long time, but I've only really been, I only opened it like maybe 6 months ago or less, and I've been using it sporadically, but it's not something I'm ready to part with just yet, so this is mine. Okay, this is another one that's relatively new to my collection. Have used it on my channel, but she might be going. It's the Revolution Blush Balm in the shade Glam Orange, which when I did use it on my channel recently, I was like, that's not, I mean, maybe in this light it's like orange, but like this is a coral to me. And it's not a particularly mature or nuanced shade. Like, again, we're seeing some thematic relativity here, but I don't know, for someone who's in my 34, I went through a phase of this orange. And I just don't know that this formula, this packaging, this color is enough for me to keep it. So I think she's gonna get gifted. It's not old. It's only been in my collection for a little while. I've only used it once or twice, and like that's maybe the third time, just that swatch there. So I feel okay putting this in the gifted pile. Eyeshadow palette, M Cosmetics. The hardest fucking palette to open. It is a Polly Pocket. But why is it so hard to open? Like, ow, it hurts. The reason that this is shattered on the inside and I'm missing one is because, I don't know, last year, 2 years ago, I'm not sure. I've had this for a while now, but I used this when I had my active period hands, tried to open it, and in the struggle, it went flying. That fell out, that shattered, that shattered. What a disaster, that shattered. I don't even remember what shade this was, but I know that I liked it. Anyways, this is a lovely neutrals palette. It's pretty. Sorry, I didn't even tell you what this is. Divine Skies eyeshadow palette in the shade Da Vinci. Oh my God, it was right there. I can't read. Hello 34. Okay, anyways, I like it. It's pretty. The tones in here that are remaining after the Accidente are fine, beautiful. I do really like this tone because it's nice and dark. That's what I like to use as like an eyeliner substitution, or if I just want a little bit of definition in the corners of my eyes. So for now, she's mine. Honestly, pretty much a twin here. This is the Another Revolution Beauty palette. This is the Mini Reloaded palette in Velvet Rose. And it's so dang similar now that I'm seeing it after opening that one immediately to the M Cosmetics one. And even though it's not that old, I opened it and just got this waft of like my mom's makeup from the 90s. And that is such a turn off to me right off the bat that I think this is just gonna go gifted. It's not that old, so I don't think I need to trash it, but it's just, I'm not gonna use that, I don't think. I have so many eyeshadow palettes. There's no reason for me to hold on to that, especially when it smells like 90s mom makeup. And no offense to my mother in the 90s, but it's just, no thanks. Okay, this is the NYX Stick It Thickening Brow Mascara in the shade Brunette. I am gonna hang on to this just because every now and then I do use it. It does have a slightly long wand and a slightly larger spoolie than I would like, but it isn't a terrible product, and I'm just gonna keep it until I'm really tired of it. At the moment, I don't think I have any other colored brow product open, and it doesn't feel like a huge loss or weight to keep this one, so mine. This is the Lemonhead LA. Why did I say it like that? Lemonhead LA Space Jam Ultra Luxe Glitter Balm, and it is just the prettiest glitter. Now, when I bought this, I bought like 5 because I was like, at the time that I bought this, I was so freaking obsessed with glitter bombs. I'm just gonna take a huge swatch of this because it's just freaking amazing. Like, look at that. Are you freaking kidding me? That is fucking amazing. There's no way I'm getting rid of this. I don't care if it literally rots on my skin the next time I put it on. It's so beautiful. I will forever love a sparkle. Obviously, like, this is not something I'm gonna be wearing every day. I wish that I had the kind of like lifestyle. Or you know what, fuck it. Maybe I will just decide to start wearing this every day, because who's gonna say no to me? Who's gonna tell me that this is ridiculous? And if they do, but fuck, this is just, it's so cool. I really love the formulas of the Lemonhead LA glitters. The formula is actually sophisticated. It is for people who kind of like miss the days of just covering your body in glitter, but it sticks. And this one specifically is just so fun. This one was a collaboration with Urban Outfitters, so I don't even know if you can find it anymore, so I'm kind of glad that I did buy multiples. But yeah, just super fun. I wore this glitter on my eyes on my first date with my boyfriend, and he is, I think, very much the like orange peel boyfriend, if that's a thing. I don't think I'm referencing that correctly. But one of the first things he said was, I like your eye, I like your glitter. And I was like, thank you, I think I love you already. Anyways, mine. And everything is going to be colored in glitter for the rest of the day. But that's okay. I'll have the glitter if I want to. Guys, I'm not doing very good here on actually taking things out and giving them away. But this, unfortunately, or fortunately, this one I knew was going to be relatively safe. Things moving forward, not so much. Then we've got my Anika beloved Baked Mineral Bronzer in the shade Sunbeam. If you can find this anymore, they probably or definitely reformulated and repackaged this, but I haven't, like, I don't know, let's give this a different look here. Like, I've used it because once upon a time, the like dome of this definitely extended further out. You can see definitively that like divot in the center there. So this is used. It is still a beautiful formula. It never once has this hard panned, which I have to say, the Kosas, even though everyone loves it, hard pans in like 2 seconds every time I used it. So that and the fact that it had super flimsy packaging and broke, like it just never stayed in my collection. But like, that is a beautiful bronzer shade. Anika, you really have something here. So this is mine. I'm sorry. It's mine. It's a good bronzer. And it's a great formula, and it's like hefty, good quality packaging. Obviously, anytime you've got like matte packaging, it's gonna get a little fingerprinty and dirty, but like not as fucking bad as like this shit, you know? Which just looks like trash if you even breathe on it. But I love this. She's mine. In a similar vein, we have the M Cosmetics Heaven's Glow brush in Rococo. Stunning, beautiful, love it. Love the like soft magnetic clackety clack of that. It is just really satisfying. I do love the sleekness of the package. I do really enjoy the like little symbol, and it is just a really beautiful formula and a beautiful shade. It's rosier than my bronzer, but it kind of works as like a blonzer type situation. Again, on those like no makeup days, it's just, it is super pretty. I love it. Mine. We're gonna go right here because this is going. This is the Makeup by Mario Soft Pop Plumping Blush Veil in Just Peachy. Barely used. Like, aside from today and my messy fingerprints because I've been sticking my fingers already in so much stuff, I think I've used this once, twice. I bought this because I was like, I am ready for a peachy pop of a blush. Seems to meet those standards, but I'm really like, I'm not a fan of this actual color, and I don't know if it's pulling properly in the camera. I'm gonna put it here so you can maybe see it a little bit better. But on my skin tone, there is too much white in that formula for even my skin tone. And like, I am the palest I have ever been right now. I can't even claim to be like pigmented, you know? Barely. She's barely tanned. This is nothing. This is like, this is embarrassing for me. If I were to show you, you know what? I'm gonna insert a picture of me as a child right here, right now, just so that you can see what I used to look like, because I actually spent so much time in the sun. And then I started getting older and depression hit and I never left the house. Anyways, there's too much white in this formula for me and for this color. It's not complimentary at all. I don't like it. So sorry, Makeup by Mario and everyone else who loved this formula. It's not for me. The boys, most definitely not mine. So again, because this is pretty new, I've stuck my fingers in it like once. Gifted. Similar vein. I was obviously in like, there was a vibe at the time that I bought these products. This is the Say Beauty Glow Sculpt in Peach Glow. Like, okay. Anyways, enough said. I also don't like this color. It's not the right complementary shade for my skin tone whatsoever. No, I don't like that. I don't really like the formula of this. And there's like a shimmer. It kind of feels like they tried to do in a cream formula what Bare Minerals did with the bronzer. It's got that like kind of very fine shimmer in it. But yeah, anyways, this is just gonna go to someone else. I will clean this up, but I think I've put this on my cheeks once. There, look, we got rid of things. We decluttered. I think this is probably the only highlighter I currently have in my collection. So right off the bat, it's mine. This is the 1999 Cream Highlight Stick in the shade Miel. I love that it's in a stick formula, and it is actually really pretty. It is, like the name suggests, kind of like a honey tone. So it's not glaringly bright. It's not an icy highlight at all. It is very much like an illumination on my skin. And it's also really nice to just swipe over your lids if you want something just kind of like dewy and soft. So I'm going to keep it. At some point, maybe down the road, if I continue to not use it, I'll give it away. But right now, mine. Also, just not going anywhere. This is the Kaleidos Quad Palette in the colorway Glowing Iris. I mean, can you even? That is stunning. Just pure freaking magic. I don't even want to put my fingers in. I just want to keep it because it's a work of art and it's so freaking pretty. The formulas are incredible, beautiful, beyond. I'm obsessed. And this shimmer, I mean, like, what? I'm trying to get closer to the camera here, but I'm filming in a weird way. Can you even with that? Like, oh my God. Now let's put that on my skin. Oh my God. It's beautiful, stunning, mine. Two Rare Beauty liquid eyeshadow thingies here. What are these actually called? Liquid eyeshadows in Nearly Berry and Nearly Neutral. For a while there, I was using Nearly Neutral because it's, as the name suggests, nearly neutral, but I don't really like this anymore. I do not reach for it, so I think it's gonna go away. But unfortunately, because this has been open for years and years and years, it feels like, who knows, COVID time warp and the effect on my brain, I don't remember when I bought this, but that's gonna get trashed. Now, just because of the uniqueness of this shade, not as like in the world of makeup necessarily, but in my collection specifically, it's a really pretty berry tone and I don't really have anything else like it. So I'm tempted to keep it just for this, but as I'm opening it and kind of looking at the doe foot and like the lip of the little tube here, it does, and the way it smells. Okay, so there's a great way to make a decision. Trashed. She's expired. Don't want that on my face. Don't want that on my skin. All right. Love when a decision can be made for me. Danessa Myricks Vision Flush in the shade Sweet Nectar. Can you tell? She's orange. Why did I even try and stray and find something else that was orange when I had this all along? Now let's try and find a patch of my skin that hasn't been compromised. That, ladies and gentlemen, that is orange. That is orange. Obviously, Danessa Myricks is always going to do it fucking right, but like, hello, that's orange. Can everyone else take notes? And then when you buff it out, that is a shade that has no or very, very little white backing. Looks stunning. Like on a deep skin tone, are you freaking kidding me? If you had that delicious ebony toned skin, this would be so breathtakingly beautiful. People would be ravenously envious of the way that your skin looked. I'm keeping this. Mine. That's so freaking pretty. And like, obviously not on my arm, but on the cheeks, beautiful. Especially like at the end of July when I've had actual sunshine kiss my face. This is going to be magic and I don't care if it's expired. Kaleidos. Still in the box because I've used this maybe once. It is the Mono Blush in the shade Joyride. Nothing wrong from a formula perspective, not even in the slightest. As you know, if you've been here, the shade Sanguine is like probably one of my all-time favorite blushes. Look at this packaging. It's so beautiful. So pretty. Look at that Monarch Butterfly. Are you freaking kidding me? Love it. But the shade itself, if I had like beautiful porcelain, never touched by the sun skin, this would probably be absolutely delightful. Again, from a formula perspective, it's so delicious and buttery and soft and like I want to put my whole naked body on that and just like roll around. But from a color perspective, it just doesn't really work for me. It's too pale to actually, I think, have an impact. Obviously, because my palms are like lighter than the rest of my skin and specifically my cheeks, the one part of my body that is getting some kind of sunshine. It's not the right tone. It never has been. And I just held on to it because I felt guilty. And again, because the packaging is so beautiful and I just dearly love and cherish the other ones. But this unfortunately is going to, I think, be gifted. But I need to emphasize the fact that it's not because it's bad. It's just because it was like an impulse decision and it was wrong for me at the time. So still in a beautiful packaging, still in the box, gifted. Look at, there's so much Kaleidos in here. I really had a love affair with them for a moment, and then I was like, I need to stop buying makeup. Okay, this, I really enjoy the packaging. I love the feel of it. Like this has a weight. This does not feel like the Merit Beauty little blush balm thing, which feels so cheap. Like if you stepped on it, it would crack and then send you to the hospital because it's like stepping on Lego. This is the Symphony Contour Trio in the colorway Tan. It's very lovely. I don't know if I'll really ever get use of this shade because it's like pretty light. It's, I guess, intended to be more of like a highlighting type color, whatever, but you've got a beautiful contour and a beautiful bronzer there, so I am just gonna keep this in my collection because it's just good. It's also, yo, I just for the first time realized that I was always looking at the packaging like this and being like, I'm not really sure what this like raised, beveled situation, beveled, embossed, whatever, what this situation, I held it like this for the first time and looking in the viewfinder, I'm like, holy fuck, that's okay, yo. Oh God, I'm so stupid. But anyways, that's pretty cool. Mine. Okay, another Kaleidos, because this is apparently the Kaleidos show. This is the Futurism 7 Sashimi City eyeshadow palette. It's got a really good magnet on there. Super, super cute. I still have the little plastic thing on there because I wanted to remember what the shades were. But for the sake of the video, just so you can get a good look, this isn't going anywhere. This is mine. So pretty, love the colorways, and like also another reason why some of these other eyeshadow palettes need to like get the fuck out of my life because I have them all right here in a superior formula. That's that on that. Fine. Now you can see the ring light again, lucky for you. Okay, we're gonna start with this stack. We're just actually gonna pull all of this stuff out of here because can you see that? That needs to be washed. This little box needs a bath before the Mine products return. This was obviously very much like eyeshadow blush situation, so maybe there was an accidental organization happening. Anyways, Kaja, Coral Sunrise, Beauty Bento. Love the formula. The Beauty Bento situation is fun. Not ridiculously hard to open unlike some things. And it is just a nice little trio to keep. I do really enjoy the brown. It's one that I get most use out of, and it's got that like beautiful kind of coral sequiny glitter in it that I really like, so mine. Okay, my About Face Cheek Freak. This one is in the colorway Smash, the shade Smash. Very similar, if not exactly the same as the Kaleidos Sanguine, just in a balmy, delicious formula. Love her. Mine. This one, however, as we saw in a recent video, is not the right shade for me. This is the shade Score. It's so purple. It's so like purple, basically blue. Not the right shade for me whatsoever. Needs to go to someone who has a completely different skin tone, and not just skin tone, undertones. I love the formula. Let's talk about Polly Pockets again. This totally has that kind of like feel. It's very like nostalgic. It's cute. I like it. It's got the like matte finish on it, so it feels nice to hold. It's not particularly heavy, so it doesn't have like the luxury feel that maybe some people want, but overall, I do like this product. It's just the color itself is completely wrong for me. So I'll need to think about this, but it's going either, you know, right or left. It's going trashed or gifted, but I think it probably can be gifted because it's not that old, I don't think. Now we've got two RMS Beauty blushes here. It's the 3-Dimension Hydra Powder Blush. This one is Pomegranate Fizz. It's very, very similar to a lot of the other blushes that I've kept, and similarly, I'm going to keep this one. The formula is beautiful, and this is a shade that is quite complimentary on my skin tone, and it's lovely. I like it, and what I do appreciate about this, although it's not the most like elegant packaging in the world and like quickly dissolves into complete messy chaos because it's white, when you finish this, you can pop out the actual color component and then buy a refill, so gotta appreciate that in a world where we're generating so much trash on a daily basis. Now, this one is the shade Mai Tai, and Well, guys, we've also seen this today, haven't we, in terms of tone and shade and whatnot. Beautiful. It looks like pretty new. The RMS like imprint is gone because I have stuck my fingers in this quite a few times. But similar to the other ones, I just don't know that this is a shade that really works on my skin tone. There's just something about it that's like, it's not, I don't know, maybe it's not nuanced enough. I just feel like actually on my cheeks, it's gonna look like it doesn't belong. So unfortunately, this one is going to go gifted as well. The packaging is a little banged up just because of the nature of how I had it stored, and it was like banging around, but the product itself has barely been used. It's still pretty new. So I think someone else in my life can get really good use out of it. This is the e.l.f. Luminous Putty Bronzer in the shade Who Knows, Seaside Shimmer. I think I've barely used this, honestly. Like, look, that looks like it's not even been touched. Never been kissed. It's really pretty. I don't particularly use like shiny, shimmery bronzers in the winter, but I think this is something that I'll probably get some use out of, or at least I'm going to make an attempt to use during the summer season this year. So I'm gonna keep it and just see how things go. So mine. And it's not exactly like my other bronzers, so I think it actually is worth keeping. This is a miniature of the Refi Beauty Cream Blush in the tone Cherry. I got this in like a little miniature gift set. It's very, very red and like ridiculously pigmented, but I don't, it's beautiful. It is like a lovely shade. It's definitely, I don't know if I would have called this cherry, honestly, because I think it's a little bit, there's too much of a berry tone for me personally for that to be called cherry. I guess depending on like what kind of cherry. I guess every time I think cherry, I think maraschino. Whereas if I was thinking of like the cherry that I would eat and buy from the grocery store for a ridiculous amount of money because produce is so expensive, I guess maybe that is closer to like the tone of the skin. But whatever. I don't know that I'm gonna keep this. So someone else will probably use and love this way more because I also think that I have a lot of other blushes that I enjoy better in kind of the same color family. Gifted. The gift bag is really filling up there, guys. Okay, I've got 3 Ritual de Fille Color Nectar Pigment Balms. These 2 are from my original purchase. This one is in the shade Bee Sting. Very lovely, kind of like a bit of a strawberry tone, perhaps. This one is in the shade Glasswing, which is the most beautiful kind of like popsicle stain purple. I love this so much. I'm going to keep this because it's so pretty. And I've loved it, and like obviously like I've used it so much that I have hit pan. Now this isn't a huge amount of product, but you need so little of it, so hitting pan feels like an accomplishment. But it's also just, it's mine. I refuse to justify it. Okay, but Bee Sting is one that it's pretty, but it's actually quite similar to the Refi. It's a little bit cooler in tone, and because of that, it's just one that I just never really leaned into. So it is gonna go, but unfortunately, because this is also quite old, like 3, if not 4 years old now, unfortunately, I think this has to go into the trashed section. Also, black plastic, can't really do anything with it anyways. Then we have a newer purchase from that same line, and this is in the shade Hummingbird, which I think was meant to be more of like a watermelon-y tone. In the pan, in this lighting, there is a difference. This is obviously cool, and this is obviously warm, but this is what I like about Ritual de Fille, is that they do understand color nuance. So Bee Sting is a no, but Hummingbird, which I really barely used and is a shame, is much warmer. And I think is kind of in that like peachy, like watermelon-y tone that I think I've been trying to find in other blushes, not realizing that I had it right here the whole time. So I'm gonna keep this. This is in the mine category. And I'm just gonna make more of a concerted effort to reach for this as the spring and summer months kind of unfold, because I do think that this is going to be quite complimentary on my cheeks, and it's just a shame that it's been sitting here languishing when it absolutely shouldn't have been. This obviously still in the freaking box, not getting rid of this. This is the Finding Ferdinand X Hey Khaki Après Ski Collection cheek color in the shade High Noon. The actual like tape on the box is still open and I was opening it from the bottom just so that I could take a look at it. I'm keeping this. It just hasn't been open and I just didn't put it away because I didn't want to. It's such a stunning color. Honestly though, probably pretty close to that Hummingbird shade. So I don't know, maybe we'll do a blush off and see who wins to stay in my collection. But I also might not, and it's just gonna stay and I'm gonna have, don't make me justify it. I don't feel the need to justify it. So got more Ritual Defy eyeshadows here. Or rather, more Ritual Defy products here. These are eyeshadows, which are all super messy. This is in the original packaging. If you know, you know. These are all Ash and Ember eye sets. We've got the shade Half Light, Golden Age, and Obsidian. I love Ritual Defy so much. I think they're really innovative. I do love their packaging. I love their whole aesthetic. And up close here are the tones. Now, Half Light is the one that I think is gonna get the chop just because this isn't really, it's not something that I reach for ever, and it's beautiful, but it's just not something that I have a real use for. It's also not, I don't think, unique enough for me to keep, especially in the original packaging. That is quite challenging because unless you have super, super tiny no nail fingers like me, like it's hard to get your finger in there. Yes, it fits a brush, but like, as we all know, there was a strong call for them to change up the packaging and they did answer it. So I think that one is just going to get put off to the side. But Golden Age and Obsidian are two very unique colors and the formula is stunning, so I'm going to keep them. Golden Age is this like greeny, dirty kind of like penny bronze. So pretty, so beautiful. And Obsidian is this bluey gunmetal black, which is also just beautiful. And these are two shades and two formulas that don't appear anywhere else in my collection, so we are going to keep those ones. Mine. Because this has been barely used, even though it is old packaging, this is going to go gifted because I'm sure there's someone who's going to get good use out of this. This is another product from About Face. It is the Loose Glitter in the shade Light Theory. Now, as you can see, I barely use this. This is like full. I don't know if anyone will ever use this much glitter unless you're a makeup artist or a child and just literally, or I don't know, freaking Tinkerbell. You know, goals, but not my current reality. Similar to the Alima Pure packaging, it's got the little cap and then it's all just loose, and I don't know, let's just fucking go for it here. We're just gonna tap that out onto the palm of my hand. Of course, it's the palm that's suffering from paradoxical psoriasis, so apologies for that, but then I'm just blending that out. And it is honestly so freaking pretty. It's very cool toned, very purpley, very blue, but it's just super, super fun. And because it's in a powder formula, I don't know, I just always feel like powders have a longer life than creams. They're not gonna go off as much. And I don't know, I always have a tendency to like want to keep things because I'm like, what if I wanna use it for a costume? Which is like, that is problematic thinking, en route to becoming like a hoarder. But I see no real reason to depart with this product because even though I have that beautiful shimmer shadow from Kaleidos, it's not like this. So I think she's mine. I think she's staying. And there's so much. What a shame to waste this. Could the packaging and the delivery system be more sophisticated? Certainly, but that's not really my problem at the moment, you know? Okay, moving on. I think, y'all, that I'm gonna have to split this declutter into 3 because we're already an hour in and I have 19 minutes left on my footage and this table needs to be cleaned before I do anything else. So I'm gonna take a quick pause. Also, I really need to wash off the mask on my face that should have only been left on for 30 minutes, 20, 15 minutes. Ooh. BRB.